Imagine waking up 1 year from today, opening your bank account and seeing an extra $10,000 sitting there. Not from luck, not from winning the lottery, but from a simple plan you followed every single month. $10,000 might sound like a huge number. For many people, it feels impossible. But the truth is this: when you break it down into clear steps and consistent habits, saving $10,000 in a year becomes completely achievable. Let's do the quick math. $10,000 in 12 months equals about $833 per month. That's $27 per day. When you look at it that way, it stops feeling overwhelming. It becomes a system, and systems are what create financial results. So here's the step-by-step plan to make it happen. What if the real reason most people struggle with money has nothing to do with how much they earn, but everything to do with how little attention they pay to where it goes? Think about that for a second. Every month money comes in and somehow by the end of the month it's gone. No clear memory of where it went, no real plan, just a quiet feeling of confusion mixed with stress. Here's the truth most people never realize: you can't control money you don't track. If you do know where your dollars are going, then your money is running your life instead of the other way around. Picture this: someone earns a decent income, maybe even a good salary. On paper, they should be building savings easily. But every month they say the same thing: I don't know why I can't save. The problem isn't income. The problem is *** invisible spending ***. Those small, harmless purchases that seem insignificant in the moment begin stacking up quietly in the background. A quick coffee here, a spontaneous online order there, food delivery after a long day, subscriptions that renew automatically without a second thought. None of these feel expensive individually, but together they slowly drain hundreds of dollars every month. And here's the shocking part: most people never notice it happening. The moment you start tracking every dollar, something powerful happens. You suddenly see the full picture. The numbers stop being a mystery and start becoming *** data you can control ***. And that awareness alone can completely change your financial life. Think of it like turning on the lights in a dark room. When the room is dark, you bump into things, trip over obstacles, and move carefully because you don't know what's around you. But once the lights turn on, everything becomes clear. Tracking your money does the exact same thing for your finances. Now here's the interesting part. When people first start tracking their spending, they often experience a surprising moment of realization. They discover expenses they forgot about entirely. Maybe it's 3 streaming subscriptions they barely use. Maybe it's daily purchases that seemed small but quietly added up to hundreds of dollars. Sometimes it's impulse purchases that felt good in the moment but were completely unnecessary. And suddenly a question appears: if I didn't even notice spending this money, what would happen if I redirected it toward my future instead? That's when control begins. Instead of guessing where your money went, you start making intentional decisions. Instead of reacting to expenses, you start planning them. Every dollar begins to have a purpose. Some dollars pay bills, some dollars support your lifestyle, and some dollars start building your future. The simple act of writing down your expenses, checking your bank statements, or using a budgeting app forces you to confront reality. Not in a stressful way, but in an empowering way. Because once you know the truth about your spending, you finally have the power to change it. And something fascinating begins to happen when people track their money consistently. They naturally start spending less, not because someone forced them to, but because awareness creates discipline ***. Suddenly, that random purchase doesn't feel so random anymore. That unnecessary expense becomes easier to skip. That extra money that once disappeared without explanation now has a new destination. Dollar by dollar, decision by decision, your financial life begins shifting from confusion to control. What if one simple decision could completely change the direction of your financial life? And it only takes a few minutes to set up. Most people believe saving money requires extreme discipline, constant willpower, and endless self-control. But the truth is, the people who consistently save money aren't necessarily more disciplined. They just use *** systems that make saving automatic ***. And one of the most powerful systems is incredibly simple: pay yourself first ***. Think about how most people handle money. The paycheck arrives and immediately the spending begins. Bills get paid, groceries get bought, small purchases happen throughout the week, and whatever is left at the end of the month, if anything, is what they attempt to save. but by the time the month ends, the money is usually gone. Now ask yourself a simple question: what if the order was reversed? Instead of saving what's left after spending, you save asterisk before you spend anything at all asterisk asterisk. This single shift changes everything. When you pay yourself first, the moment your income hits your bank account, a portion of it automatically moves into savings or investments. It's no longer optional. It's no longer something you try to do. It simply becomes part of your financial routine, just like paying rent or buying groceries. And here's the fascinating psychological trick behind it. Once that money leaves your spending account, your brain quickly adjusts to living on what remains. Humans are incredibly adaptable. If you earn $3,000 and spend all $3,000, your lifestyle grows to match that amount. But if you automatically move $500 into savings first, suddenly you begin organizing your life around the remaining $2,500. The money you never see is the money you never miss. This is why automation becomes such a powerful financial weapon. When saving relies on motivation, it becomes inconsistent. Some months you feel motivated, other months you feel tired, stressed, or tempted by something you want to buy, but automation removes emotion from the process entirely. Imagine this scenario. Every payday, without you touching anything, money quietly moves into your savings account. Week after week, month after month, the balance begins to grow. Not because you forced yourself to save every time, but because the system handled it for you. Suddenly, saving stops feeling like sacrifice and starts feeling like asterisk asterisk progress asterisk asterisk. Another powerful benefit of paying yourself first is the way it reshapes your priorities. When saving becomes the first financial commitment you honor, it sends a powerful message to yourself: your future matters just as much as your present. Too many people spend years working hard but building nothing for themselves financially. Paychecks come and go, but their long-term security never grows. Paying yourself first flips that pattern completely. Each time income arrives, a piece of it is quietly building your future. And the process doesn't need to start big. Even small, automated transfers can build powerful habits. The key is consistency. Whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, every automatic transfer becomes another step toward financial strength. Over time, something incredible happens. What once felt like effort turns into normal behavior. Saving money stops being something you struggle to remember and becomes something that happens naturally in the background of your life. Have you ever wondered why some people feel like their money disappears faster than they can earn it? One moment the paycheck arrives, and the next moment the bank balance is mysteriously shrinking. No major purchases, no huge investments, just a constant flow of small spending that quietly eats away at financial progress. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid thinking about. It's not always the big purchases destroying your finances, it's the small, unnecessary ones happening every single day asterisk. Think about how many purchases in a typical week happen almost automatically. A quick coffee during the morning commute, a food delivery order because cooking feels like too much effort, a random online purchase that seemed like a good idea for a few seconds. None of these feel expensive individually, they feel harmless, almost invisible. But here's the hook most people miss: invisible spending is the most dangerous kind of spending asterisk. Because when something feels small, your brain doesn't question it. It doesn't trigger the same caution as a large purchase. You don't stop and think deeply about a few dollars leaving your account. But when those small expenses repeat again and again, they quietly stack up into hundreds or even thousands of dollars every year. Imagine someone buying a $5 coffee every weekday. That doesn't feel like a big deal. It feels like a tiny reward for getting through the morning. But over a month, that simple habit costs around $100. Over a year, it becomes more than $1,200. Suddenly, a small daily habit has the same financial impact as a major purchase. And that's just one example. Now imagine layering multiple habits on top of each other: occasional takeout meals, subscription services that renew automatically, late-night online shopping, convenience purchases that happen because something feels easier in the moment. One by one they seem harmless, but together they create a silent drain on your financial progress. This is why eliminating unnecessary spending becomes such a powerful strategy. Not because you need to remove every small joy from your life, but because asterisk awareness allows you to choose which expenses actually matter asterisk. The moment you start questioning your spending habits, you begin to see things differently. That quick purchase suddenly triggers a thought, do I really need this right now? That automatic subscription suddenly becomes a conscious decision instead of a forgotten charge. That random online item suddenly feels less exciting when you realize it's competing with your financial goals. Here's the fascinating psychological shift that happens when people begin cutting unnecessary expenses. At first, it feels like sacrifice, but very quickly it begins to feel like asterisk taking back control. Every expense you remove becomes money you can redirect somewhere more meaningful. Instead of funding habits that add little value, that money can start building something bigger: your savings, your investments, your financial security. Another powerful realization begins to appear. Most unnecessary spending doesn't actually improve happiness for very long. The excitement fades quickly, but the financial impact remains. Recognizing this pattern makes it easier to pause before spending and ask a powerful question: is this purchase helping my future or quietly stealing from it? What if the fastest way to reach your financial goals wasn't by cutting every expense, but by asterisk earning more money? This is the idea most people overlook. They spend years trying to save small amounts while completely ignoring one of the most powerful financial levers available to them: their ability to increase their income. Think about it for a moment. There's a limit to how much you can cut from your spending. Rent can only go so low, groceries can only be reduced so much. Eventually, you hit a point where there's nothing left to cut without hurting your quality of life. But income has no ceiling asterisk. That realization alone changes the entire strategy of building wealth. Many people operate with a fixed mindset about their earnings. They believe their salary is the only money they can make and that their financial future is locked to whatever their employer pays them. But the modern world has quietly opened thousands of new opportunities for people willing to look for them. The question becomes powerful: what if your income didn't have to stop at your job? Look around and you'll see people everywhere turning skills, hobbies, and ideas into additional income streams. Someone with writing skills might start freelancing online. Someone good with numbers might tutor students after work. Someone with design ability might create graphics for businesses. Others sell digital products, teach courses, flip items online, or offer simple services in their communities. And here's the surprising part: many of these opportunities start small but grow quickly with consistency. Imagine earning an extra $100 a week. That might not sound life-changing at first, but over a year, that simple side income becomes more than $5,000. Double that effort and suddenly you're approaching your entire $10,000 goal without even touching your main salary. Now imagine what happens when that side income becomes a habit. One of the biggest psychological shifts occurs when someone realizes they have the power to asterisk create money, not just receive it. Instead of waiting for annual raises or promotions, they begin actively looking for ways to increase their value and generate income on their own terms. This mindset creates momentum. Every new skill learned becomes a potential opportunity. Every connection made becomes a potential client. Every small project completed builds experience that can lead to bigger opportunities later. Another interesting thing happens when people start earning additional income. Their relationship with money changes. Instead of seeing money as something scarce that must be carefully protected, they begin to see it as something that can be asterisk created through effort and creativity asterisk. And that belief alone can transform financial confidence. Because once you understand that your income can grow beyond your paycheck, saving money stops feeling restrictive. It starts feeling strategic. The extra income becomes fuel for your goals, whether that's building savings, investing for the future, or accelerating your financial progress. Opportunities are everywhere, but they often hide behind one simple barrier: the willingness to start small and stay consistent long enough for those small efforts to compound into meaningful income. Have you ever noticed how the biggest financial mistakes rarely happen because someone planned them? They happen in moments: a quick decision, a sudden urge, a purchase that felt exciting for a few seconds, and before you even think twice, the money is gone. Here's the uncomfortable truth about spending: Most purchases are emotional, not logical asterisk. People like to believe they make careful financial decisions, but in reality, many buying choices happen impulsively. Something catches your attention online. A limited-time sale appears. A product looks exciting, useful, or fun. In that moment, your brain immediately starts justifying the purchase. It's not that expensive. I deserve this. I'll use it a lot. It's on sale, so I'm actually saving money. And just like that, the decision is made. But here's the hook most people never realize. Impulse spending isn't about the price of the item, it's about the speed of the decision asterisk. The faster you decide, the less time your rational mind has to evaluate whether the purchase actually makes sense. Your emotional brain takes control, chasing the quick dopamine hit that comes from buying something new. This is where discipline becomes incredibly powerful. Financial discipline doesn't mean denying yourself everything you want. It simply means slowing down the moment between wanting something and buying at asterisk. One of the simplest but most effective tools for building this discipline is something called the asterisk 48-hour rule asterisk. The concept is surprisingly simple. Whenever you feel the urge to buy something that isn't essential, you wait 48 hours before making the purchase. No immediate checkout, no quick decision, just time. And here's the fascinating psychological effect of this delay. Most impulse purchases lose their excitement extremely quickly. What felt urgent in the moment often feels completely unnecessary just a day or two later. Think about how many times you've wanted something strongly in the moment, only to completely forget about it later. That's because the desire wasn't based on real need, it was based on temporary emotion. By creating a pause between desire and action, you give your logical mind time to step in and ask better questions. Do I actually need this? Will I still want this next week? Is this purchase helping my financial goals or distracting from them? This small habit can dramatically change spending behavior. Instead of reacting to every temptation, you begin making intentional decisions. Instead of buying things simply because they appear in front of you, you start evaluating whether they truly deserve your money. And something interesting begins to happen once people practice this consistently. Their awareness grows. They begin noticing how often marketing, advertising, and online stores are designed to push quick decisions. Flash sales, countdown timers, and limited offers all exist for one purpose: to prevent you from thinking too long asterisk. When you refuse to rush, you regain control over the decision. Each time you pause before spending, you strengthen a powerful mental habit. You train yourself to prioritize long-term goals over short-term excitement. You begin shifting from reactive spending to thoughtful spending, where every purchase becomes a conscious choice rather than an automatic reaction. What if the biggest reason people fail to reach their financial goals isn't lack of knowledge, lack of income, or even bad decisions, but simply giving up too early? Think about it. Most financial plans sound great in the beginning. People feel excited, motivated, ready to change their habits, but after a few weeks or a few months, that excitement fades. And when the excitement disappears, many people quietly stop. Here's the truth that often surprises people. Asterisk financial success rarely happens quickly asterisk. It happens slowly through consistent actions repeated over time. The problem is that consistency doesn't feel exciting at first. In fact, it often feels boring. Imagine starting your savings journey. The first month you save $800, that's great progress, but when you look at the number, it may still feel small compared to your big goal. The second month passes and now you have $1,600. Better, but still far from $10,000. The third month arrives and the total grows again, yet the finish line still seems distant. This is the moment where most people lose momentum. Because progress feels slow in the beginning, the brain starts questioning the effort. Is this really working? Is it even worth it? That's when consistency becomes the most powerful financial skill you can develop. Here's the hook most people miss. Asterisk success accelerates with time. In the early stages, progress looks small. But when you stay consistent month after month, the numbers start to build momentum. What once felt like small progress suddenly begins turning into meaningful results. Think about stacking blocks. The first few blocks create a short tower. It doesn't look impressive, but each additional block makes the structure taller and more noticeable. Eventually, the tower becomes something impossible to ignore. Saving money works exactly the same way. Every month you stay consistent, the habit becomes stronger. Every month you continue the plan, your confidence grows. Every month your savings increase, the goal feels closer and more real. Another powerful shift happens when people track their progress regularly. Instead of guessing whether they are improving, they can clearly see the results building over time. A balance that once started at zero slowly begins climbing higher and higher. This visible progress becomes incredibly motivating. When someone sees their savings reach $2,000, then $3,000, then $5,000, something changes mentally. The goal stops feeling impossible and starts feeling inevitable. Each milestone proves that the system is working. Consistency also builds discipline in a subtle way. The more you repeat a positive habit, the less effort it requires. At first, saving money may feel like a conscious effort, but after months of repetition, it becomes part of your routine, something you do automatically without needing constant motivation. And that's the real secret behind long-term financial progress. Not dramatic changes, not perfect timing, not lucky opportunities, just steady actions repeated long enough for their impact to compound. The people who reach their financial goals are rarely the ones who started perfectly. They're the ones who simply kept going when the process felt slow.